Have you ever found yourself living a life that looks perfect on paper, but deep down something feels off? Like you're ticking all the right boxes, yet there's this nagging feeling that you're meant for something more. Today, we're diving into the incredible journey of Lindsey Mango, a woman who had it all by society's standards, but felt trapped in a life that didn't align with her true potential. From navigating the potentials of a conventional career to taking the leap into entrepreneurship, Lindsey's story is one of courage, resilience, and transformation. And welcome back, action takers, to the IDK WTF I Was Doing podcast, where we explore the real-life case studies of different entrepreneurs who have overcome significant challenges to build the lives and businesses that they love. I'm your host, David B., and I'm here to be your favorite accountability buddy as we journey together through the ups and downs of doing this business. In this episode, we're going to uncover how Lindsey broke free from the average life she had built, embraced her calling as a coach, and ultimately created a thriving business that empowers others to do the same. But it wasn't an easy road because Lindsey faced intense self-doubt, the fear of failure, and all of the pressures that come with staying true to herself while growing her business. So what does it take to step into your true potential and create a life that's anything but average? Stay tuned because Lindsey's story is about to unfold and it might just inspire you to take that leap you've been dreaming about. But first, we'll thank our sponsors and then we're going to dive right in.
How can a single book be worth $1.5 million? In a hidden corner of the world, a collection of unparalleled wisdom has been discovered. This book, and the story behind it, has the power to revolutionize your approach to success. Written nearly a century ago and lost to time, this book contains the foundational principles that have shaped the lives of the most successful people in history. Only a select few have had the chance to see it, but now you can too. This isn't just a book. It's a priceless masterpiece that holds the key to unlocking your potential. Are you curious? Then go to idkwtfpodcast.com/book or click the link in the show notes below to see the full story and find out why this book is considered a priceless treasure as well as how it can influence your life forever. Again, check it out at idkwtfpodcast.com/book.
Picture a young woman standing at the pinnacle of conventional success. Lindsey Mango, the golden girl who seemed to have it all. She had top grades, she was a star athlete, and now a well-paying job fresh out of college. On paper, her life was a masterpiece of achievement. Each brushstroke carefully applied to create the perfect picture of success. But beneath that glossy veneer, there was a restlessness in her that stirred. It was like an itch she couldn't scratch, a whisper she couldn't quite make out. Lindsey found herself caught in a paradox, surrounded by all the trappings of success, yet feeling utterly unfulfilled. She said, "I had everything I was supposed to want," when she later reflected, her voice kind of tinged with a mix of bewilderment and frustration. But why did it feel so average? And that word, average, it would cling to her like a shadow, following her through board meetings and networking events. It was there in the mirror when she adjusted her crisp blazer, and it lingered in the air as she clinked glasses with colleagues at happy hour. The life she had meticulously crafted was slowly suffocating her, and something had to give. Little did Lindsey know, the universe was about to throw her a curveball that would shatter her carefully constructed world and set her on a path she never could have imagined. The turning point came disguised as just another mundane day at the office. Lindsey had recently taken a position in recruiting, hoping it would be the key to unlocking that elusive sense of fulfillment. But instead, it felt like she had traded one gilded cage for another. As she prepared for what she assumed would be another routine networking event, Lindsey couldn't shake the feeling that she was merely going through the motions. Little did she know, fate would have other plans. Amidst the sea of suits and forced smiles, Lindsey found herself drawn into a conversation that would change everything. A life coach she would meet with eyes that seemed to see right through Lindsey's carefully constructed facade, listened intently as she began to just unravel and explain the exact things she'd been reflecting on recently. "I can help you," the life coach said, and those 4 simple words would be igniting a spark of possibility that Lindsey hadn't felt in years. It was as if the universe had opened a door, and for the first time, Lindsey could see a glimpse of a life beyond the confines of her average existence. The idea of becoming a coach herself began to take root, a seed of potential that would soon blossom into something extraordinary. But as the excitement of possibility coursed through her veins, a familiar voice of doubt crept in. Was she really ready to leave behind everything she had worked so hard to achieve? The safety of her current life tugged at her, urging her to stay put. But little did Lindsey know, this internal struggle was just the beginning of a journey that would test her in ways she never imagined. The days following that fateful encounter were a whirlwind of conflicting emotions for Lindsey. The allure of a life aligned with her passions was intoxicating, but the fear of the unknown gripped her like a vice. What if I fail? She would ask herself, pacing her apartment late at night. What if I'm not cut out for this? These doubts were like anchors, keeping her tethered to the familiar shores of her current life. But even as she resisted, the seed of change had been planted, and it refused to be ignored. So enter the mentor, the life coach, who had first opened Lindsey's eyes to the possibilities that lay beyond her comfort zone. With patience and wisdom, the coach began to guide Lindsey through the labyrinth of her fears. Your fears aren't walls, Lindsey, the mentor would say, her voice a beacon of calm in Lindsey's storm of uncertainty. They're doorways to your growth. Through their conversations, Lindsey began to see her doubts not as obstacles, but as stepping stones. The mentor provided her with tools to shift her mindset, to see abundance where she once saw scarcity. Slowly but surely, Lindsey's perspective began to change. The very things that terrified her became sources of excitement. The unknown, once a threat, now beckoned with the promise of adventure. As Lindsey stood at the crossroads, poised between the safety of her own life and the uncertainty of the new, she realized the biggest risk wasn't in taking a leap. It was in staying where she was, letting her potential wither away in the name of security. With her mentor's guidance and her own newfound courage, Lindsey was ready to take the first step into the unknown. But little did she know, the challenges that lay ahead would test her resolve in ways she never imagined. The day Lindsey handed in her resignation was a blur of adrenaline and terror. As she walked out of the office for the last time, the weight of her decision hit her like a tidal wave. There was no turning back now. Launching her coaching business felt like stepping off a cliff and building her wings on the way down. The exhilaration of freedom was quickly tempered by the harsh realities of entrepreneurship. Financial uncertainty loomed like a storm cloud, and there were days when the temptation to run back to the safety of her traditional job was almost overwhelming. She says, "I remember sitting at my kitchen table, staring at my dwindling bank account," she would later recall. "I felt like I was in a free fall with no idea where I'd land." But it was in these moments of doubt that Lindsey's true strength would begin to emerge. The lessons from her mentor became her lifeline, and she clung to them with fierce determination. Each obstacle again became an opportunity to prove herself that she was capable of more than she ever imagined. As Lindsey's business began to take shape, she found unexpected allies in the most surprising of places. Her clients, drawn to her authenticity and passion, became her biggest cheerleaders. Their successes fueled her own determination, creating this beautiful cycle of growth and inspiration. But not everyone was supportive of Lindsey's new path. There were skeptics and critics who would emerge, with their doubts echoing Lindsey's own inner fears. "You're throwing away a perfectly good career," some close people in her life would say. "This coaching thing is just a phase." These voices of dissent could have easily derailed Lindsey, but instead they became the fuel for her fire. Each criticism only strengthened her resolve to succeed, to prove that she was capable of creating the extraordinary life she envisioned. So as Lindsey navigated the tumultuous waves of entrepreneurship, she began to realize that this journey was about more than just building a business. It was about becoming the person she was always meant to be. The tests she faced, like financial struggle, self-doubt, external criticism, all of these things were forging her into a stronger, more resilient version of herself. With each challenge she overcame, Lindsey's confidence grew. She was no longer just pursuing a new career, she was creating a new life. one that reflected her deepest values and aspirations. But as Lindsey's business began to gain momentum, she found herself facing another new and unexpected challenge, because the very success she had worked so hard to achieve was about to become a problem. As Lindsey's coaching practice flourished, she found herself at a crossroads. The demand for her services was growing, but so was the nagging feeling that she could be doing more, reaching more people, making a bigger impact. And so the solution came to her like a bolt of lightning. She would create a signature program, something that could help women not just one-on-one, but on a larger scale. And so her course, Anything But Average, was born. But creating this program wasn't just about putting together a curriculum or a marketing strategy. It required Lindsey to dive deep into her own journey, to excavate the lessons she had learned and transform them into something that could guide others. She would go on to say, "It felt like I was turning myself inside out," she would later describe. "Every insecurity, every triumph, every hard-won lesson, it all had to be laid bare." The process was intense and often overwhelming. Lindsey poured her heart and soul into the work, often losing track of time as she refined and perfected every aspect of the program. Her social life dwindled, and even her relationships were tested as she devoted herself entirely to her vision. But as challenging as it was, this period of intense focus and creation was also incredibly rewarding. Lindsey was not just building a program, she was crystallizing her philosophy, her approach to life and to success. Her program, Anything But Average, became more than just a course. It was a manifesto, a call to arms for women everywhere to step into their own power and create lives of passion and purpose. As her program took shape, Lindsey faced a new challenge, the pressure of living up to her own teachings. She realized that to truly lead others, she would have to embody the principles she was espousing. This meant confronting her own lingering doubts and insecurities, pushing herself to grow in ways she hadn't anticipated. She would say, "I couldn't just talk the talk," she would later reflect. "I had to walk the walk, even when it felt like I was walking through fire." The creation of her program, Anything But Average, marked a turning point in Lindsey's journey. It was the moment when she truly stepped into her role as a leader and a mentor. But with this new role came new pressures and new expectations. As she prepared to launch the program, Lindsey couldn't shake the feeling that she was standing on the edge of something big, something that would either make or break everything she had worked for. And again, the greatest test of her resolve was yet to come. The launch of her signature course was like lighting a match in a room full of dynamite. The response was explosive, beyond anything Lindsey had dared to hope for. Women from all walks of life resonated with her message, eager to break free from their own average lives and step into their true potential. But with great success comes great challenges, and as her client base grew exponentially, Lindsey found herself grappling with a whole new set of pressures. The weight of responsibility she felt towards her clients was immense. Each success story did fuel her passion, but each struggle or setback from her community felt like a personal failure. The fear of letting people down, of not living up to the image of success she had cultivated, began to eat away at her. Lindsey found herself working longer hours, pushing herself to the brink of exhaustion in an effort to ensure that every client, every student got the results they were looking for. But as her external success grew, Lindsey felt an internal discord growing. The very principles she taught of balance, self-care, and alignment with one's true self seemed to be slipping away from her own life. And the irony wasn't lost on her, but the pressure to perform, to be the perfect role model, was overwhelming. And it was during this time that Lindsey faced her greatest ordeal, the crisis of identity. Who was she really? The successful coach and mentor that everyone saw, or the scared, uncertain woman who sometimes felt like a fraud? "I felt like I was split in two," she admitted in the speech. "There was this public persona, confident, successful, unshakable, and then there was the real me, full of doubts, terrified of failure, wondering if I was really even cut out for this." And this internal struggle would come to a head one night after a particularly grueling week of coaching calls and program development. Lindsey found herself sitting on the floor of her home office, surrounded by vision boards and client testimonials, with tears streaming down her face. And it was in this moment of vulnerability that Lindsey had an epiphany. The real measure of success wasn't the number of clients she had or the revenue she generated. It was in her ability to stay true to herself, to practice what she was preaching, and to find joy and fulfillment in the journey, not just the destination. This realization marked a turning point. Lindsey began to reassess everything, her business model, her daily routines, her definition of success. And she realized that to truly serve her clients and live her purpose, she needed to find a way to align every aspect of her life with her core values. And it wasn't an easy process because it meant saying no to opportunities that didn't align with her vision, even when they were financially tempting. It meant being vulnerable with her audience, sharing not just her successes, but her struggles too. It meant prioritizing her own growth and well-being, even when the to-do list seemed never-ending. But as Lindsey navigated this challenging period, she found a new level of authenticity and power. The woman who emerged from this ordeal was stronger, more grounded, and more aligned than ever before. This transformation was setting the stage for her greatest achievement yet. Are you drowning in tasks, feeling stuck and overwhelmed, or just plain frustrated with your business? Have you been spending hours each day with no real results and confused about exactly what to do next? Are you feeling a bit lonely because you don't quite know how to find the support you're looking for? Well, I understand how you're feeling because I went through this for years. I'm David B., and I'm here to help with the best solution to get you out of this funk. Now, Tony Robbins says to create the product you always wish you had. And really, I always yearned for a knowledgeable friend who I could message for answers, hacks, or ideas. But all I found were $1,000 video courses or gurus charging the hundreds for an hour of coaching, where they ended up just trying to sell me something else anyway. That's why I created my monthly unlimited teamwork sessions, to give you the support I wished I had at a fraction of the cost and exponentially more value than anything out there that's similar. Get started with me today and enjoy virtually unlimited access to my personal cell phone number every day with no contracts, no commitments, and you'll have hands-on support whenever you need it. You can work with me as your personal mentor, your assistant, or your accountability buddy, always just a message or a phone call away. Imagine not having to purchase another book, another online workshop, or some masterclass because you can just text me, David B., your buddy, who has been at the forefront of this industry for a decade. And because this is so personalized and it's dramatically less expensive than you'd ever expect, spots are very limited. So don't wait. Go to idkwtfpodcast.com/David B. and say yes to your success today. As Lindsey emerged from her ordeal, she found herself standing on new ground. The landscape of her life and business had shifted. But for the first time in a long while, she felt truly grounded. The rewards of her journey began to manifest in ways both tangible and intangible. Her program wasn't just successful, it had become a movement. Women from all over the world were stepping into their power, creating lives and businesses that lit them up from the inside out. But perhaps the greatest reward was the profound shift that had taken place within Lindsey herself. The woman who had once felt trapped in an average life now stood firmly in her purpose, fully aligned with her passions. The fear of failure that had once paralyzed her now felt like an old, outgrown skin she had shed. In its place was a deep, unshakable confidence. Not one in never failing, but in her ability to rise, learn, and grow from any challenge. Lindsey's impact extended far beyond her immediate circle of clients. She found herself being invited to speak at conferences, contribute to major publications, and collaborate with other thought leaders in the industry. Her story and her message resonated with people from all walks of life, inspiring them to question their own definitions of success and to dare them to dream bigger. But perhaps the most meaningful reward was the community that had grown around her work. The women she had coached were now coaching others, creating a ripple effect of transformation that extended far beyond what Lindsey ever imagined. She said in an interview, "There are days when I look around and I'm just in awe," she would share, her voice filled with emotion, "to see these incredible women supporting each other, challenging each other, and celebrating each other's wins. It's beyond anything I could have dreamed of." As Lindsey reflected on her journey, from the unfulfilled young professional to the leader and mentor she had become, she realized that success wasn't a destination. It was a constant evolution, a daily choice to show up authentically and to keep growing. The girl who had once felt trapped in an average life had become a woman who was living and breathing her purpose every day, and in doing so, she was helping others to do the same. Lindsey's story serves as a powerful reminder that when we have the courage to step off the beaten path and into our true potential, we not only transform our lives, but we create a ripple effect that can change the world. And there it is, everyone, the incredible journey of Lindsey Mango. And I don't know about you, but her story has left me feeling both inspired and introspective. Because, as I was preparing for this episode, I couldn't help but see parallels between Lindsey's journey and the challenges we all face in our lives. Her story isn't just about building a successful coaching business. It's a testament to the power of authenticity and the courage it takes to pursue a life that truly resonates with who we are. There really are two main lessons that stand out to me from Lindsey's journey. First, success is not just about external achievements. It's about alignment. Lindsey had all the trappings of success in her early career, but she felt unfulfilled because her life wasn't aligned with her true passions and values. It wasn't until she took a leap into coaching and created her program that she found real true fulfillment. And this reminds us that real success comes when our actions align with our core values and our desires. Now, the second is that growth often requires us to face our fears head on. Throughout her journey, Lindsey repeatedly had to confront her fear of failure, her fear of judgment, her fear of not being enough. But instead of letting these fears paralyze her, she used them as catalysts for growth. This teaches us that our fears often point us towards the areas we need to grow the most. Lindsey's story is a powerful reminder that we all have the potential to create extraordinary lives. It's not about being fearless. It's about feeling the fear and moving forward anyway. It's about recognizing that the path to our dreams often lies just outside of our comfort zone. So as we wrap up, I encourage you to take a moment and just reflect on your life. Are you living in alignment with your true passion? Are there fears holding you back from pursuing your dream? Because remember, as Lindsey's journey showed us, it's never too late to make a change, to step into your power, and to create a life that's truly anything but average. And by the way, if you were literally the person in the story and I got anything wrong, or you would just like to connect, please send me an email at info@idkwtfpodcast.com. And for everybody else, remember, you are part of a larger community of action takers. And just like Lindsey, your journey is unique. So keep pushing forward, stay true to yourself, and even if you have no idea what the F you're doing, just do something anyway. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Are you drowning in tasks, feeling stuck and overwhelmed, or just plain frustrated with your business? Have you been spending hours each day with no real results and confused about exactly what to do next? Are you feeling a bit lonely because you don't quite know how to find the support you're looking for? Well, I understand how you're feeling because I went through this for years. I'm David B., and I'm here to help with the best solution to get you out of this funk. Now, Tony Robbins says to create the product you always wish you had. And really, I always yearned for a knowledgeable friend who I could message for answers, hacks, or ideas. But all I found were $1,000 video courses or gurus charging the hundreds for an hour of coaching, where they ended up just trying to sell me something else anyway. That's why I created my monthly unlimited teamwork sessions, to give you the support I wished I had at a fraction of the cost and exponentially more value than anything out there that's similar. Get started with me today and enjoy virtually unlimited access to my personal cell phone number every day with no contracts, no commitments, and you'll have hands-on support whenever you need it. You can work with me as your personal mentor, your assistant, or your accountability buddy, always just a message or a phone call away. Imagine not having to purchase another book, another online workshop, or some masterclass because you can just text me, David B., your buddy, who has been at the forefront of this industry for a decade. And because this is so personalized and it's dramatically less expensive than you'd ever expect, spots are very limited. So don't wait. Go to idkwtfpodcast.com/David B and say yes to your success today.